thanks for attending my presentation. I'm Andrea Valle, I work for Adobe, and I'm also the president of the Cloud Signature Consortium. Today, I'm going to talk about how electronic identities will have an impact on the way we generate electronic signatures in the context of the upcoming revision of the eIDAS regulation. Our experience with the Cloud Signature Consortium has been particularly remarkable. We originated as a small group of European TSP and technology providers, inspired by the introduction of remote electronic signatures in the eIDAS regulation. In a few years, we became one of the largest and most influential associations of trust service providers, with 67 members from 41 countries, with a significant presence of qualified trust service providers from the European Union. Our main activity focuses on the development of Open API standards for remote electronic signatures, which is already heavily adopted, facilitating interoperability among multiple players. The Cloud Signature Consortium is a non-profit association, and in addition to developing open standards, we also cooperate with standardization bodies to facilitate their adoption. An example is the partnership with ETSI that allowed the incorporation of our standard into the ETSI Technical Specification 119432, which is the European standard defining protocols for remote electronic signatures. Recently, the version 2 of the CSC standard has been released and is currently in public review on our website. Here's a short overview of our members' logos. It's impressive to see how many leading companies have joined globally to develop, implement, and support our standard to facilitate interoperability and the usability of electronic signatures. A typical solution based on the CSC API allows existing business applications like a CRM or human resource portal to apply digital signature through a signature application, which may expose a web interface or an API. The signature application receives the document to be signed and returns the signed document at the end of the process. The signature application implements the CSC API as a client, talking to a CSC provider that implements the remote signing service, as well hosts the signing credential, typically in a hardware security module, and is connected to the certification authority issuing the signing certificate. Typically, the signature application generates the hash of the document to be signed and passes it to the CSC provider to generate the signature under the control of the signatory. The resulting signature is returned to the signature application, which embeds it into the document according to the signature profile that has been requested by the business application. The signature application might be connected to a single CSC provider or allow access to the growing ecosystem of CSC providers, giving the signatory the ability to choose the provider that better suits their needs, without increasing the complexity of the integration, as all providers speak the same integration language with the CSC API standard. Let's focus now on the key topic of my presentation. There's a lot of interest these days around the digital identity wallet, one of the most important new components covered in the proposal for the eIDAS 2 update. However, a lot of discussion argue that the digital identity wallet should do much more than what the name says, a wallet for digital identities, and make it closer to a Swiss knife for all sorts of digital interactions. For example, one of the controversial topics is about the capacity to sign via qualified electronic signatures. Many are considering the ID wallet to become a sort of universal signature application, which would allow anyone to apply qualified signatures anywhere and from any business environment. But signatures applications are not merely applying digital signature. As I explained in my previous slides, signature applications integrate with business application and offer sophisticated capabilities like workflow automation, document management and archiving, long-term preservation, registered delivery services, and more. Here's a diagram of the model that we envision. The digital identity wallet stores identity data and attributes and facilitates electronic signatures by supporting the signing process and interacting with signature applications in a seamless way, rather than try to replace them. The digital identity wallet provides the identification to the QTSP issuing the qualified certificate, but it's not a QSCD itself. Similarly, the digital identity wallet provides authentication to the QSCD and the signature application, but it's not itself a signature application. The goal is to make both the certificate issuance process as well as the signing process more efficient and usable using the digital identity wallet, but not to replace QSCDs and signature applications. Therefore, the remote signature model that we discussed before remains valid in this context. The QTSP generates short-term or long-term qualified certificates and stores the signing credential in the QSCD on behalf of the signatory. And the qualified electronic signature is created remotely by the signatory through a signature application that interacts with the digital identity wallet as well as with the QTSP providing the remote signing service via standardized API like those proposed by the Cloud Signature Consortium. This model is capable to support the main qualified signature scenarios. First, the identity wallet enables a QTSP to issue a short-term qualified certificate for remote electronic signatures. The signatory can obtain a qualified certificate to create a qualified signature on the go with no preliminary configuration. Alternatively, the identity wallet enables a QTSP to issue a long-term qualified certificate for remote electronic signatures. The signatory can obtain a qualified certificate with a one-time digital identification event. Third, the identity wallet is used to authenticate with the QSCD hosted remotely by the QTSP via the signature application. The signatory can create a qualified signature in total control of their signing credentials. The key element in those scenarios is the interoperability of the components involved. A standard like CSC can contribute to implement this model successfully because it's designed for interoperability among components and services from different providers. It's important to understand some gaps that may undermine the ability to implement new successful services for qualified signatures. First, in a remote signature model, it's important to establish a seamless integration between the signature application and the QTSP hosting the remote signing service. Currently, the European Trusted List do not contain any information on remote signing services, as this is not considered a qualified trust service. The new Article 29A of the proposed eIDAS revision defines a new qualified trust service for the management of remote electronic signature creation devices. This is a good step forward from the current regulation, but we believe that something important is missing. The European Commission proposal aims to qualify the handling of the tools required to deliver the remote signing service, while we believe that the service to be qualified should be the actual remote signing or sealing service. Remote signature creation or remote seal creation would also include the management of the associated tools, for example, the remote signing creation device, but also the requirements for remote identity verification, for example, which would not be covered with the current proposal. So, in conclusion, the digital identity wallet can help with streamlining the user experience of signatories applying qualified signatures, but it should not aim at replacing the tools and services that exist today. The remote signing model will continue to be a reference model, with new digital identity schemes involved to simplify the certificate issuance process and create signature faster and more securely. The model we recommend is based on the experience gained by multiple European QTSPs, as well as service providers from other regions that have successfully implemented the remote signing services in combination with eID schemes. The Cloud Signature Consortium is ready to support this model and is open to collaborate with European institutions to implement it successfully. If you share the same vision or you would like to collaborate with us, please consider joining the Cloud Signature Consortium. And feel free to contact me if you have any questions or comments. And thank you very much for your attention.